No matter what your background is, I think you're going to find something valuable to take away from this video. Whether you're someone that just graduated college in the spring semester of 2025, you're about to start in the fall, you've been to college before then, and you got even as far as a master's or a PhD, or consider going to college in the future. This video is specifically for you. And it has to do specifically with the lie that is fed to us, not only in college, but in society about its value and its worth, and that it's a necessity in a way for you to not even on a basic level just get like rich and wealthy, but also just like to make it anywhere in life. That if you don't have a degree, you're almost looked down upon. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case at all. And I say that as someone that has the credibility of both an actual bachelor's of computer science from an accredited university, as well as someone that has walked down the path of making money online and building my own table, my own path to rich and eventually, God willing, wealth. So let me give you context as to how I ended up here. From a very young age, as far back as I can remember, around like as young as 6 years old when I first came to this country, I have been on the path to becoming an engineer, specifically a NASA scientist or an engineer for NASA, right? And it was this big thing that my family was super proud of. They'd always tell people, oh, he's gonna be an engineer. I was always involved in sort of hands-on STEM projects, and that was ultimately at the time what I thought was necessary to become rich and wealthy, which is something I've always just imagined for myself. I never knew how, but I've always said I'm going to be someone that has, God willing, a lot of money. I'm going to be someone who money is not an issue for them. And I was under the impression that it would be by going down this route, by being an employee, or eventually even like just misunderstanding of how the world works at the time, thinking right out of college I'm going to be put in some sort of a very important management position, leading a major engineering project for some tech company or NASA. So with that being said, I've actually done very, very well in school when I wanted to, up until my like junior year of high school. If I wasn't at the top of my class, I was very close to it. So all of this changed when at 16 years old, I wanted to start making some of my own money. And I, in short, went online, I started researching the different options, and I saw the different methods to make money online. That included drop shipping, options trading, Amazon store that I started at one point. I was even flipping couches on Marketplace at one point. I've tried it all. This was until I came across my current business model, which is a service-based business, also known as the agency model or the marketing agency model. How I do it specifically, it's called the hybrid niche agency model. But long story short, I partner up with local businesses to help them grow their business by getting them leads, sales, running their ads, doing their marketing, so on. So I started this business when I was in high school. And along with it, I got a really amazing opportunity to intern for Jose Zuniga. I've made 2 videos about this on my channel if you guys want to check them out later. But I got the opportunity to intern for, if you don't know who Jose Zuniga is, he's pretty much one of the biggest name, if not the biggest name in the men's self-improvement space online. He is a really good example of the type of life that you can build by like going down the path of online money and building your wealth through there. It's all possible, right? He's a guy that started out by making YouTube videos to market a suit business he had at the time, and then he grew it and grew it and grew it, and now he's, you know, God bless, very wealthy, and he has an amazing life built for himself through his online business. Now, me already having my business started and then seeing the life that he had created with my own eyes in front of me was the perfect formula to let me know that this was exactly what I wanted to do. And so after working for him for some time, I quit and I went all in on my company, but I was also in my senior year of high school, about to graduate and about to go to college. So what I wanted to do was just drop out altogether, focus on my business full time, because I'd already seen an example of how successful I can become with it, and not go to college at all. And I knew that it would work out because I already had my skepticisms about the effectiveness and the need of college, and the fact that it wasn't going to help me do specifically what I wanted to do. Now, there's something to be said about people that need college, like anybody in the medical field, the law field, or the engineering field, right? You need certifications and licenses to be able to do these jobs. And you probably, even I, wouldn't trust someone that doesn't have those licenses. I have some value to give to those people as well. But for someone that is only concerned with actually getting started on work as soon as possible and making money, you don't need the college, and that's what I knew, right? Because all of the clients that I had even spoken with up until that point in time before starting college, not a single one of them was concerned with my degree. It was just a matter of, can you deliver on what you're promising? You're making me a promise, you're saying you can do something, can you actually deliver on it? And my resume, if anything, or my degree, my credibility, would have been the proof that I've actually done it for other people in the past, or the fact that I'm willing to learn and put in the effort and have the tenacity and the endurance to go through the struggle of learning to then perform for this client. That was the way that I got my job with Jose. That was the way that I got my first, actually all of my clients up until this day, and not a single one of them has questioned me about my degree. Isn't that interesting? So I finished my job with Jose, rather my internship with Jose, and it is at this point in time the summer of 2021, because I graduated high school in 2021. And so I already had gotten a full ride to the New York Institute of Technology. So I got a full ride, full scholarship. I didn't have to pay a single dollar to go to a very prestigious private school in New York City. If you guys don't know, NYIT in short, like I just mentioned, prestigious private university, to an extent that there were a lot of students even from overseas that send their kids to come study in NYIT particularly. So as good as a college can be, that's what I had, and I got a full ride to it. So I figured, let me just try it. Let me go see what it's like. In case I'm wrong, maybe just, I'm this inexperienced 17-year-old, 18-year-old, let me just go give it its chance. So I go for one semester, the fall semester of 2021, and I didn't even need the full semester. It was within the first 2 weeks that I knew, like, yeah, if I continue down this place for the next 3 or 4 years, I'm not gonna finish it, and it's definitely not going to be the thing that helps me get rich. So that kind of solidified for me that I wanted to leave. And I already had my business running and I continued managing it. So what was I to do then? Only reason that it was very much a concern for me to not leave college yet was because I have Arab parents. Told me, you need a degree, you need to find a way to get a degree in some way, shape, or form. So I was wondering, okay, how am I gonna get a degree if I'm trying to leave college? I started looking for different options, and that was when I found the university that I actually got my degree from, which is called Western Governors University. It's an online self-paced university that gives you the same curriculum you would have taken over 4 years, but at whatever pace you want. You just get the curriculum all at once, and the way that it works is you study the material for a class, you take an exam. If you pass the exam, you go on to the next one. And you can do that at whatever pace you want. So that puts you in a position to be able to complete school in a week, 6 months, a year, or 4 years, whatever it is that you want, and you move at your pace. So for me, I told myself, okay, I'm going to start this online university in the, beginning of the year of 2022, pretty much. I don't know what semester that is. And then I'm going to complete it within 6 months. That was my initial goal. Because of the fact that I was also working on my business, that ended up taking a year, but still, after a year, I had gotten a bachelor's of computer science, an accredited bachelor's of computer science that is equivalent to that of any other university within 1 year at 19 years old. So that gave me a lot of perspective as to the absolute lack of necessity that college is. Like, I already had that skepticism, but the fact that I got my degree of computer science, my bachelor's of computer science, that usually takes people 4 years within 1 year at 19, only further added to my skepticism about normal universities and their lack of necessity. So after that, pretty much, I've just been focused on my business ever since, and it's the best decision that I've ever made. And now I only look back on even that year as a waste of time, because sure, I got my degree, I got the piece of paper that I gave to my parents, they hung it up on the wall, and now they're happy. But in terms of my career and the direction that I'm heading in now with my businesses and what I'm building, it only delayed me. So that's my story. That's like really the credibility that I have to give you guys in terms of why you should listen to me and why you should take my advice. Now, let's actually talk about college and what it's for. So first thing I want to talk about on my list is the lie about what college is actually for. So here it is. If you are attending college in America, or for that matter, anywhere in the world, that is a 4-year university, you are not going to get an education. You're not going to get the Renaissance experience where you have this B, C, and AD of your life and you learn about how the world actually works. You're not going to get a degree that's going to help you get a job or become any smarter. You are going to college for 4 years to party, to socialize, to meet new people, and to have fun. And that's fine if you want it, but you're not going there for education. The initial reason that we go to college is because we think it's something that you even need at all to learn and to become, either an employee or even start your own business or do whatever. That is not the case at all. You're going to socialize, to have fun, and for the first time in your life have the college experience. That's what they call it, right? The college experience, which is pretty much just 4 years of you doing whatever the hell you want without adult supervision. Without your parents to tell you to wake up in the morning, without your brother or your sister to hold you accountable, without maybe if you come from a community, without that community to force you to set an example for them because you have a reputation on the line. You don't get any of that. And this is why, no matter what university you go to, even at the best universities in the world, Harvard, you'll find people that spend 4 years doing nothing but living in a basement with a bunch of guys that have no ambition and no goals, drinking cheap drinks and cheap beer, because that's just what I've heard at least. And wasting 4 years pretty much. Now, if you are someone that was aware of this and that's what you're going to college for, cool, do what you want. But this video is for the people that want to get rich, that want to do something with their lives, that want to make something out of themselves and get somewhere, and they don't want to be delayed. They don't care to go to a dorm room party on a Friday night when they're 21, when they know that they could work, make a lot of money, and be taking an entire summer in Europe by the time that they're 23. That's where I'm at right now. That's what I can afford to do probably, if not this year. I could have actually done it this year, but I'm looking to do it next year. It was just my schedule. So if you're someone that's actually serious about getting your career started, making money, getting rich, getting wealthy, the right way, the truthful way, how do you actually do it? So I'm going to tell you, but I want to further emphasize the worth of your degree, especially nowadays, especially nowadays, because of what college is actually for, is completely useless. You're going to go get a degree, which it baffles me to even think that there are people that go get degrees in anything aside from like the maths, the sciences, the medical field, the law field. There are people out there that go get dance degrees, art degrees, English degrees, stuff like that. A history degree, okay, if you want to become like a teacher, sure. But especially these art and dance degrees, what are you going to do with them? Like, you have to think from the perspective of a company that's going to hire you unless you decide to start your own. But even then, if you're going to start your own, I don't see why you need to go get a degree to what? Give it to yourself and hand a resume to yourself to hire yourself to start your own business? Doesn't make any sense. Who's going to hire you? Who's going to give you a job? Who's going to look at you and say, yeah, you're worth an income to me that will be sustainable to you? Especially if you live in one of the big cities. Who's going to do that? You need to understand how companies work, how they value employees, and how they're going to hire you. And that's something I'll also be discussing as someone that has employees myself and as someone that has applied for businesses and understood their psychology when it comes to hiring. Your degree is useless because companies are aware of the fact that nowadays, people that get degrees have just spent the past 4 years using ChatGPT or cheating or not focusing on actually gaining an education and experience as to the task that they're going to be doing when they get hired at a company. Rather, they were just completing tests to get the piece of paper that says they did it. And that's the fault with school as a whole to begin with, the entire educational system. You go and you take tests to get a grade, not to learn. If someone was actually concerned with learning something, the way that you learn something is by doing the thing itself over and over and over again, failing at it, learning from those failures, and then going back and reapplying yourself. This is why you also always hear people say the most important thing in anything you apply yourself to is consistency. It's consistency because the natural part of the process that nobody talks about in life is failure. You need to fail 1,000 times. You're going to fail 1,000 times before you learn anything properly. Whereas in school, we're taught that failure is so bad because you're going to get a bad grade, it's going to make you fail, you're going to get held back. And it's always, for some reason, the kids that end up kind of realizing that lie, the C students, the D students, are the ones that run the world later on. Because they weren't sitting there obsessed with getting the best grade up front. They went and they failed 1,000 times doing the actual thing that they're going to be doing to build their life, and then they learned, and then they started. So picking up where I left off, the kids that end up running the world are the ones that are in school, the C students, the D students, and it's because they realize that the way that school teaches you to do things isn't right. Obsessing over a grade isn't better than actually doing the thing that you want to be good at multiple times, learning from the mistakes, learning from the failures, and reapplying yourself. And then over time, you actually get to build experience along with getting better at that thing. So this all contributes to the main reason why your degree is actually useless, and it's because you don't have any hands-on experience. You're in school and you're learning theory, but theory doesn't always translate into practicality, okay? If you are someone that is getting a computer science degree, let's say like I was, and you are learning the theory behind how the code works and how to apply it, and how to actually code, even the practice that you're doing to do your homework or your tasks isn't the same as the code that you're going to be doing when you're working with a company and smoothly transitioning yourself and plugging yourself into whatever systems they have to contribute to the systems that they have. You're only going to get that by, let's say, getting an internship, by going in to actually practice with a company how to do the things that they want you to do. At the end of the day, it's about satisfying them because they're the ones paying you anyways, right? But if that was the whole thing that we can agree on, right? That, oh, well, you can just go get an internship and you can still go to school, blah, blah, blah. Well, once again, for those that were concerned about just getting their career started as soon as possible and making money and actually getting rich and wealthy, why didn't you just, instead of going to college at all, find one of these founders that are willing to hire up-and-coming coders? Actually, no, let me take that back, because there are a lot of founders that aren't willing to take a lot of up-and-coming coders. Let's say instead of going to college and having the experience, you would have went to a boot camp, or you'd have practiced code on your own through the millions of resources that are available online. And then within 1 year, at 19 years old, then you can have some experience, have some projects under you, have some actual application of the thing that it is you're trying to get hired for, and you'll make a much stronger case to the company that you're trying to get hired at. Which brings me to the next point that I have on my list, which is how companies see you. Companies nowadays value practicality and experience in the thing that they're hiring you for. They don't care about the degree that you have, and as a matter of fact, most interviewers will not ask you what school you went to, what degree you have, what credibility you have, none of that. They want to ask you, do you have a resume of you doing the thing that we're hiring you to do? Do you have any experience? Do you have any sort of real world hands-on experience actually applying yourself in the thing that we want you to do? For a lot of you guys that have just graduated college and spent the past 4 years partying, messing around, having fun, socializing, you're not going to have that. You're not going to have it. And even if you do have it, because you got an internship, let's say in your junior year and your senior year, whatever, and then you got hired from there, I think the kid that at 18 years old decided to take a boot camp and then by 19 applied himself to a company and then he got accepted, even if it's a very low paying job, but like $70,000, $80,000, makes a much stronger case by the time that he's 21 in a competitive environment against you when applying for the same position. And it's because he has been coding since he was 18 when he started. He got his first job at 19. By the time he's 21 or 22, when most of you guys are applying for jobs, he already has 2 to 3 years worth of experience, and he comes with an entire resume list of projects that he's built that are either the same thing as the company he's applying for or very similar. And you just came with your cute little degree from NYU or wherever you came out of. You don't have any experience. You're just starting out, and you're not a seasoned coder like the kid that actually took his career seriously and started building when he was 18 years old. Not only will the employer that you're applying with choose that other kid, but he can actually negotiate a higher salary because of the experience that he has. He can take a look at their systems and some of the problems that they have and say, I actually have the solution to this and I can offer you the direct solution. I won't even need to come in and receive the training on how to do the stuff that you guys do. I've already been doing this since I was 18 years old. I'm offering a much stronger case because I have exactly done and created the solution to the problem that you have. Therefore, I would like a higher salary if that's how much you value me. So you tell me which one you'd rather choose, and the reality is it doesn't really matter what you choose because there's only one right answer, and it's whatever the companies that are hiring out there say is the right answer. And as of right now, they don't care about your degree. They don't care about what you spent the past 4 years doing, which ever since ChatGPT came out, they know you just got all your answers and assignments through ChatGPT, and what they want is real experience. They want hands-on experience. This is why, especially in the computer science field, and I'll just use this because this is where I got my degree in, and I was like looking at jobs here just out of curiosity. Nobody wants an inexperienced coder. I don't care what university you came out of. Nobody wants a kid that's walking out with their 4-year paper saying, hire me just because I have this paper. They don't want that anymore. It is extremely competitive because there are innovators everywhere, and there are people that are actually walking down the path that I'm telling you about right now, which is instead of spending the 4 years to mess around in college, they're just starting working pretty early from their lives. And not only is it making them smarter, more experienced, and more competitive when it comes to job applications and that whole scene, but even in terms of wealth creation and income. This kid has been saving since 18 years old. He has probably been living with his parents, so his expenses were relatively low. So if you started out even as low as like a $70,000 salary, by the time that he's 22, he's able to negotiate a $300,000 plus salary. And if he's responsible with his money, this kid is on his way to have $1 million at the time that he's 25. Some of you guys by 25 are paying off a car payment that's $400 with $3,000 in your bank account, and you can't go over it because you're living paycheck to paycheck because you bit off more than you can chew. And I don't blame you. That's the life that's the life and the path that has been built for us by society. But that's why I'm making videos like this, because I caught on to it, I escaped it, and I would like to spread awareness about it to other people as well. So to sum up this point, companies even don't value your degree. You don't need to get a degree because they don't want to see a piece of paper. They want to see an experienced practitioner of the role that they're trying to hire someone to fill. So you need to get your practice. Next thing I want to talk about. Now, I want to transition into the stage of the video where I actually get a little more involved personally, or rather like involved with my personal case as a business owner. So the point that I have here on my list is you're either the employee or the owner. So the path that I've been talking about up until this point is what to do, the best path to approach if you want to become an employee. You're not really concerned with let's say being the business owner, wanting the responsibilities, wanting the control, let's say like I do, which is what I value the most about my businesses. I have control to do whatever I want with them. You're someone that actually just wants to make good money and you want to get started early, and you can still become rich and wealthy even off of working off a salary and becoming an employee. It's just going to take you a little longer. But for those that are concerned with becoming the owner, what do you need to know? Now, in the conversation of should I start a business or become an employee, here's why I personally think you should be the owner. A lot of people I've heard become employees do it just because of the safety that comes with having a guaranteed paycheck or having a guaranteed income, right? It's the idea that you show up to a certain place at a certain time, and although you don't have the time, location freedom, at the very least you are guaranteed the paycheck and the safety and stability and comfort of knowing you have money coming in every month so long as you do what you have to do, okay? The owner, on the other hand, doesn't have that same safety, doesn't have that same predictability, doesn't have that same stability. They have to keep working because if they don't work, then they're going to stop making money. Now, this is a huge misunderstanding for many reasons. First one is that even as an employee, you're not safe. I know a lot of people that have built their entire lives off of their safe 9-to-5 income or salary, and then they got fired and that was the end of it. Actually, one of my clients recently that I just finished building a website for had that exact thing happen to him. He had a job in software engineering. His company laid off everybody. And so he now had to transition to actually starting the business because he realized you're never actually safe as an employee. If anything, it's the opposite because you're always going to be held at the mercy of the person that has employed you or your performance. And if your performance fails for whatever reason, then you're of no more good use to that company and they're definitely gonna let you go. So even being an employee is not as safe as you think because you can get fired at any time, you can get demoted at any time, you can have a circumstance even that comes up in your life outside of work that will need you to make more money, but you're not in a position to make that money or have it because you're tied down to your already decided salary, or already decided hourly wage. You can only work so many hours. You don't have control of that. Now, as a business owner, here are the benefits. In the beginning, it is very hard. However, once you get past that stage, you're the one in control. You control your income, you control your time, you control the location that you have to be in, you control the other people under you, and you're never at risk of being fired. And if you go far enough with it, you're even in a position in which you actually don't have to work at all to make money. The part that I want to point out the most is the fact that people that are employees, or rather people that choose being an employee over being an owner for the safety of it, think they're doing it because of the consistency and in the sense that they don't have to deal with the stress. But what they're not realizing is that by choosing to be an employee, you're actually relying on a guy that made the decision to be the owner, and your sustainability, your life is dependent on his performance. So you can either rely on yourself or you can rely on another person and their mental stability and their abilities and their capabilities rather to keep that company afloat and in turn keep paying you your salary. Whereas now let's say the owner of that company dies for whatever reason, God forbid, right? And then they now can't continue to run the company. They can't continue to put up with the responsibility that they've been putting up. And now not only you get laid off, but you and your entire team and everybody else in that company get laid off. So this idea that being an employee is safer than being an owner is completely false. And if anything, I think it's an agenda that's been fed to you by people way early in the 1900s. They're the same people that have persuaded women to start working. They're the same people that have persuaded women to start working just because of the simple fact that when you have more people working, you have more taxes that are being paid and but government benefits more. It's for that same reason that you have this idea of being an employee so glorified, to the extent that it actually kills people's potential that want to start business, but they're always told it's bad, you're going to fear it, it's this bad thing's going to happen, that bad thing's going to happen. There's risk everywhere in life. You might as well take the risk that's going to give you the highest possible outcome. Or at least that's what I think, and thank God it's been working for me so far. With that being said, next thing I want to talk about is the fact that your time is worth more than $15 an hour. Or your time is worth more than even if you're making as much as $100 an hour, $70 an hour. The reason for that is the following. When you are playing in the game of being paid off of salary, being paid off of an hourly wage, you are selling your limited time as a human in your life on this world in exchange for money. This is also known as simply sedating your dreams, right? What was the salary they gave you to kill your dreams? This safety or this upfront offer of, let's say you get a guaranteed $70,000 a year, $80,000 a year, $100,000 a year, that's pretty much how much they paid you to kill a dream that could have potentially helped you make millions. Now, why is your time worth more? It's because when you are operating in the position of being the business owner or being a manager or being someone that has any sort of business apparatus or application in a company, you are not working in a matter of exchanging your time for money. You are working in the matter of leverage and value exchange. Now, what that means is, rather than me giving you 4 hours of my time at $100 each, what I'm going to do is assess how valuable is the thing that I'm going to deliver to you, and then I'm going to charge you based off of the value of the thing that I'm delivering to you, right? Now, that gives me what we call leverage. Depending on how valuable that thing is to you, I now have the leverage to pull the lever on my end and use it to my benefit and to my advantage to make even more money. And I'll give you an example. The medical industry makes a lot of money. When you're in a hospital, if you don't have insurance to cover your medical bills, if you've ever received an actual medical bill, they will charge you $30,000 for an emergency room visit. If you've ever actually seen an itemized list, a $1 Band-Aid that you can get from a pharmacy, a hospital will charge you $500 for it. They're able to do this, and they've been getting away with it for many, many, many years, whether you know about it or not, because of how valuable the product is or the services that they're offering to the consumer. And we're talking about your health. If you are in a life-threatening situation and somebody tells you, I'll save your life, but I need all the money in your account, not something with a price tag on it, all the money in your account. Your mother's about to pass away, your wife is about to pass away, your kid is about to pass away. I'll save them, just give me all of your money. When you're in a desperate situation like that, and you value the thing that they're going to give you so much, the leverage they have on you is exponential, because you're going to give up anything that they want, anything that you have, in order to get the thing it is that you're going after, in order to get the thing that you want to consume, because of the level of value that you have placed on it. Now, that's an extreme example, but to give you a more realistic example, how can you apply that to yourself, or how can you rather take this ideology and put it in your head for it to make sense to you? I, as a marketer, help businesses get more sales, right? I run their ads, I do their landing pages, I put in place a performance plan for them in order to increase their revenue over time. That is valuable to a business owner because that is something they value very, very much. Any business owner stays up every single night asking themselves, how can I get more customers? How can I grow my business? This is something that is so valuable to them that if somebody were to give them an answer for it, it is worth more to them than the amount of money that they're going to exchange in return for that thing. So that puts me in a position in which I could do one of two things. I could say, I'll be your marketer for $30 an hour, and I'm going to cap my income at however many hours I can spend. So let's say if I'm dedicating 5 hours a day to a company, that is, what do we say, $30 an hour? Let's just do easy math, right? Let's just say $100 an hour for 5 hours is $500 a day, times 5, that's $2,500 that I get for the week. Whereas I tell the business owner, what is the value of helping you actually get more sales? Like, realistically, what is the amount of revenue that you will produce if we put in place a system that increases your revenue by 10%, 20%, 30%? Let's say they then tell me, well, on a 7-day schedule calendar, that is going to help my business make $50,000 more. Okay? So you knowing how to market your business and grow your business is worth $50,000 to you. That is the increase that you're going to get. In exchange for my services to help you grow by $50,000, I'm going to take 20% of the revenue that I'll generate for you. Different conversation now, right? I'm not getting the same $2,500 that I would have gotten had I limited myself to an hourly rate. I assess the value of the thing that he wants, and then I have taken for myself a bigger share that I would deem a fair exchange in value. Because that's what I want as well. If I'm providing value to somebody else, I want them to provide me with value. And I want an equal exchange in value. Even if I would have done 10% of it, I'm still getting double the money that I would have gotten had I used the pay per hour example that I gave you. Now, why would somebody do this, right? And why would I suggest this? It's because I'm taking on a risk in exchange for a bigger return. So I could be guaranteed my $2,500 a week if I used the compensation per hour model. Or I can take the risk of not getting money at all if I don't generate anything for him, because I did say percentage of revenue that I generate for you. So given that I do generate the $50,000 for you, I'm going to take 10% of it. So that's a risk, right? Because if I generate nothing, I get nothing. But in the case that I do actually perform, and I know I will because of my experience and my testimonials and the fact that I've done this a million times before and I know I can do it on autopilot, I know I'm going to get $10,000. And even if I don't hit that exact goal, let's say I still negotiate a deal with him to get still the same 10 to 20% out of a lower amount that I generate for him. So I didn't hit the $50,000 mark, but let's say I did 40,000. And then I take 10% of that, or 5% of that, or 20% of that. I'm still in a position in which I'm getting paid way more than I was initially going to get paid on my pay per hour model. So this is now where you can start to understand just how valuable you are. And it started raining. I have had to do so many takes to get this video done, guys, but I'm gonna get it done. Okay, take 4,000 to get this video completed today, because it doesn't seem like it doesn't want to. Because it doesn't seem like it wants to get completed. Given the risk that I have taken now, and I am taking a risk, right? Because I'm taking on the risk of potentially not getting paid anything at all. I am telling the person, my payment is contingent on the fact that I actually give you a return, which is a very powerful, powerful offer to the individual that is receiving it. But on the upper hand, that I do have experience, I know what I'm doing, I've done this before, I'm pretty much putting myself in a position in which I'm doing the same amount of work that I would have done for the pay per hour rate. I'm just getting paid 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times the amount that I'm getting compensated. So how is this valuable to you? It's because if you are someone that is working as an employee, you are very skilled at what you do, you can very easily become a freelancer on the side of the thing that you do and offer your services not for an hourly rate, but in exchange for the value that it provides to the consumer. And once again, that puts you in a position in which you can leverage, right? So imagine this is a lever, you can leverage the amount of income that you make exponentially. This is how you get into the game of making millions and billions and trillions of dollars. This is how the big guys and all these corporations that you may or may not know are playing the game of business. This idea of value exchange and leverage is how people are making millions and billions and even trillions of dollars. Nobody's thinking in a matter of timestamps or within time periods, because they all know that you only have a limited amount of time, and if you attach a certain amount of money to a certain amount of time, you're limiting the amount of income that you can make. You want to play the game of leverage because you can always exchange value, which the value of something can be varied very vastly, very diversely. You can always take the same thing, package it differently, and then increase its value just because of the packaging that it has around it. So to give you an example of that, let's say I were selling you cookie dough, right? So in the container that I am selling you, the same product itself is cookie dough. And I just have a plain white container that says cookie dough on it, and I sell it to you for $5. Or I take that cookie dough, I put it in a pretty decorated container, and I tell you, you have the potential to create a sweet treat out of this cookie dough that will not only bring your friends and family around, but will give you an amazing thing that you can share among everybody, and it's going to create a great memory for you. Not to mention that it tastes great because you can bake it into a cookie. So I've taken the same thing, I've repackaged it differently, I've increased the value, and I've associated it with something that you find valuable, because you find it valuable to spend time with your friends and your family. And if you have cookies that you bake and you bring everybody around, that gathering is now extremely valuable to you. So I've packaged it and I've drawn a vision for you that you can follow, and that now in turn puts me in a position to charge you $15 for the same container of cookie dough. And guess what? You could have done the same thing with the original $5 unbranded box of cookie dough, but because I branded it and I packaged it and because I attached a certain value to it, I am now in a position where, because I've just attached the value and I've given you that vision, that packaging, I can charge you triple the price for it. This is, as I mentioned earlier, also the same way that you make a lot of money much, much faster, because you are not attaching an hourly rate to your time, you are exchanging value. Companies that make millions and billions of dollars at a time, they are not thinking in terms of like how much money they have or what the amount of time is or what like the actual thing is that you're selling. It's the value in terms of the return that they get. So we as a big company, by attaining the small company, will increase our revenue by $1 billion or whatever it is, let's just say. So because of that value that we're going to increase, that puts me in a position as the seller of the company to charge that company $2 billion. Because I'm going to be consistently giving you $1 billion of new revenue every single year. In 10 years, that's going to be 10 billion. All you have to do is pay me 2 of it right now. So why is this stuff important to know? ranging from like the very, very beginning of this video and this conversation that I started, it's because you aren't taught these things in school. And I only learned these things through quote unquote street smarts, or actually being involved in business and seeing the actual potential of what it is that you're capable of. I know a lot of people, once again, that want to be in the position that I'm in and even better and have great plans, grand plans for themselves, but they're not taught these things in school because the school system is made for two things. Number one, it's made for the university to make a lot of money off of you because they get you to stay there for 4 years and they get money off of the tuition every year that you're there. And number two, the regulation of the educational system that comes from the governments that run this country have it set up that way because they want to create employees. They want to create employees. They don't want too many people thinking for themselves. They want to create employees so that they can just fill more of the current job roles, whether the companies are hiring or not, and have more people that they can make taxes off of, that they can charge taxes and make money off of. You can't necessarily really do that with a business owner because business owners have loops when it comes to taxes. You're a smart business owner with millions and millions of dollars. You hire a smart accountant. You're not paying as much in taxes as you should be. But that's not something they're going to teach you because they don't want you to know that information. They don't want you to be in a position in which you can take that information, use it to your advantage, and then put them at a disadvantage. But I found it, and I'm posting it in this YouTube video. I'm going to figure out all the different ways that I could spread this, but let's see how many views this video gets. So, moving forward, what it is that I do and how I escaped. And also, I'm going to mention earlier, if you watch this long, if you are someone that is in the medical field, the engineering field, the law field, where you need licenses, you need certifications to actually qualify for your job, this video is valuable to you as well for the following reason. I'm actually going to address this before I get into what I do and how this will benefit you and the solution that I'm actually offering you. Let's say you're someone that is becoming an engineer. You're going to be responsible for building some of the city's buildings, some of the bridges, or you're an architect, something along the lines of that. This is also a necessity to society. If you're a nurse, if you're someone in the medical field, if you're a doctor, also a necessity to society. If you are an educator, a necessity to society. If you are a lawyer, a necessity to society. Now, am I opting that everyone should leave college altogether and everyone should go drop shipping and running marketing agencies and making money online? Of course not, because I also still need a doctor, and the rest of society needs doctors and lawyers and engineers, and these people are necessary to have. So what is the plan for them? Are they just going to be stuck with the limited amount of money that they make at the firms that they're running because they're a necessity to society? I don't think so. You have two options. You can either become the person that starts your own firm and company, in which there you go, you're going to unlock the same path pretty much that I'm unlocking by building your own money, becoming rich and getting wealthy. Or you are, and this is probably something that I would have done had I, let's say, had access to start my career at 16. Complete your degree, get the certifications and licenses that you need, and go get a job as a nurse, as a doctor, as a lawyer, as an engineer. Along with this, what I want you to do with your now high-paying income is put money aside to throw into investments and side hustles. So what that means is the following. Let's say you are an engineer that is making $80,000 a year at your job, starting. It should definitely be 6 figures within 2 years. If not, you should change your job and go somewhere else where they're going to value you more. What you're going to do is save at least 10 to 20% of your paycheck to put into investments that you're going to experiment with. Now, those investments, if you want to stay within the engineering field, could be the thing that, if you want to stay within the engineering field, could be the capital that you're going to use to start your own firm, or you can look into other methods of wealth creation, such as real estate. So for example, I'm staying in this Airbnb. The owner of this property, had he played his cards right, is going to put down a small down payment on this house. His mortgage is going to be a certain amount every month. Airbnb, if he rents out all 30 days, let's say his total revenue is like 30 grand. It's $1,000 a night. On $30,000 revenue, after you pay your mortgage, after you pay your expenses, and all the things that are associated with running this property, you're still going to go home with at least half of it. And that's if he has like extreme expenditures. Now imagine on a property like this, he puts down a certain amount that he saved within a few years, and now along with the job that he's working, he has a side income that's paying him multiple figures amounts of money. That's one option. Another thing you can look into if you want to get into the online business game, such as the location, and then having access to the location freedom, the time freedom, the wealth that is potentially available to you by running a business and playing the game of leverage and value exchange. What you're going to do is, as you're working your job, you need to have the energy to then after that, let's say, get involved in a course, get involved in a community, get involved in something like what I'm building right now to teach you the actual skills that you need to start this business. Now, it's fairly, if you're in the right spot, if you're playing your cards right once again, and you're choosing something that's beginner friendly, you're not gonna have to spend a lot of money to do this. You can start off in something that's like a service-based business like I did, where you don't need capital up front, you just need the time and the energy to learn the skill so that you can then sell that skill. You do this for 6 months, you get your first few clients that give you enough money to either have a little less to your monthly income, match it, or more. If it's more, then it's obvious, you quit your job and you focus on this full time and take it through the roof. Me personally, what I'd recommend is if you are in a position with your business where you're making anywhere from 50 to 60 to 70% of your take-home income from your job, quit your job. And the reason for that is because you have been able to generate 70% of your take-home income with this business by dedicating a few hours a week to it. Now imagine if you had all the time. Imagine if you dedicated full time to it. Within 1 to 2 months, 3 months maybe, you're probably making way more than you ever would have been making at your job anyways, with raises, with bonuses, with the whole 9 yards. So this is the value that honestly I'd recommend to anybody that is still in one of these fields, such as nursing, such as, nurses make a lot of money in New York City. What I've heard is some of these nurses are going home with like $70, $80 an hour. That's ridiculous. If I could have became a nurse at 18, did that for 2 years, walked out with like 6 figures in my savings and then started my business, I would have had a very nice cushion to not only sit on, but then also reinvest and grow my business faster. Now, that's an opportunity you don't want to miss out on. And at the same time, that's your contribution to society for something that is a necessity. Now, let's talk about the individuals that have no interest in becoming a nurse or a lawyer or engineer or an educator, something that is necessary to society. You just want to become wealthy. You just want to get rich as fast as possible. You don't care for the parties, you don't care for the fun, you don't care for the waste of time, you don't care to drink cheap beer on Friday nights with a group of friends that have no motives and are going nowhere in life. You don't care about any of that fluff from college. You're literally just saying, I just want to get started on working as soon as possible, and I want to make sure I'm in a position and I'm doing something that is going to help me get as rich as possible, as fast as possible. What is that thing? Here's what I think you should do. And I hope that at this point in time, by watching this far, you see that I have given you enough value that you should trust my advice. First off, you're definitely going to be getting into business, right? So if you are anywhere from the ages of like 16 to 21, you're definitely going to get into business. And the reason for that is because, yes, business is risky. You might dedicate a lot of time, energy, and effort into something that might go wrong or might go right. But your biggest advantage at this point in time is that you have time. It is your youth. It is the fact that you are still so young that you can take as many risks as you want. And even if you fail every single one of them, you're still in a position where you have enough time and you have access to, let's say, a living situation with your parents, where if it doesn't work out and you gas out and you want to give up, you can just resort to moving back into your parents' house. You can go get that job, and you can just go back to being normal. That's the worst case scenario. You just go back to being normal and making what is in most places a comfortable salary, which is the thing that is responsible for building and sustaining a lot of families all over the world, and that's completely fine. But for those that are willing to take the risk, what you should do is definitely get into business. Now, what type of business? There are a million different options that we can get into, but I'm gonna narrow it down into 2 things for you. I'm going to give you like a general thing that you can apply no matter what business it is you want to get into, and then I'll tell you, and I'll actually just do a little promotion for my own thing and how I can personally help you make more money. Number one thing is, you in particular are surrounded by business opportunities, whether you want to identify it or not. So whether you're on a college campus and there's a business that's open that you could potentially replicate and do better with, or whether your parents are involved in a career or a job that you can learn about the industry, figure out the solutions there and solve it. The whole point of a business and the whole way that you can actually make a lot of money by charging people for it is by finding a problem that they have and solving it. That's all that business is, supply and demand. You find a problem that people have, you give them the solution, and depending on how much they value that solution, you can charge them obscene amounts of money. Money will be the least of your concerns when you're solving people's problems. It's just going to be the fact that your biggest problem is going to be the fact that they want to stay in communication with you so much that your phone is going to be constantly blowing up. You're not going to have a money issue. But anyways, identify a gap that you can fill. So just to give you an example, my dad is a contractor. One of his issues is that he is, for many, many years, someone that is still responsible for being the manager of his own company. Right now, I've always told him I want you to expand, but he's had a hard time doing it because he can never find people to come in as managers to manage some of the jobs that he already has, so he can take on more jobs. So his volume output is limited. One of the solutions that I'm just thinking off the top of my head is I can build some sort of recruiting agency. And this is an issue, by the way, that if one person has it, there's most likely other people that have it as well. I can build a recruiting agency that will connect contractors with top management talent, whether it's people that are just experienced, or people that have, let's say, business management degrees from college, that will come in and we can put in place contracts and terms that will allow this individual to first prove their skills over a 6-month basis for a limited or lower amount of pay. And then after they do that, they can then commit with the contractor or my dad, let's say, for a multiple year term on a fixed salary or a commission of jobs that they help manage. I know that if I went to my dad right now, or a stranger even went to my dad and offered him that solution, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna charge you $5,000 to connect you with a manager that's gonna help you make an extra $100,000 a year, he would do that. That's a $5,000 payment from one client. That's life-changing money. That's money that you wouldn't even get with some 4-year degrees starting off at a job. $5,000 just to that one payment. Now imagine you have 10 of these guys in a month, that's 50 grand. And you can see how, depending on the value that you're exchanging, the amount of money that you make will stack up pretty quickly. And you can do this with anything. Any problem that you have available around you, whether it's in the favorite restaurant that you love to visit, or whether it's in one of the industries that your parents are working in, or whether it's in this gig that your friend started but he couldn't figure out, so you saw the problem, you can identify the solution. If you can find the problem, you can identify the solution, you can make a business out of it that will pay you a lot of money and be valuable to a lot of people. So that you can apply to anything. Look around you. If you want to label me as a course seller and you don't want to give me your money, you don't think I can help you get rich, fine. Do that thing on your own, figure it out in your surroundings. Now, how can I personally help you make some money? Yet another cut because my camera died when I was filming that last clip, but still we prevail. Continuing where I left off, let's talk about how I can actually help you make some money. So what I do is I run a hybrid niche-based agency, or a hybrid niche-based marketing agency. What that means pretty much is I have chosen a particular industry that I have dedicated all my time to studying and learning, so that this way I can step into that industry as an authority figure and as an expert and market myself to business owners within that industry as the best marketing department they could have. I come in and I give them exactly what they want. I'm not talking about setting up ads for them, landing pages, all that is exactly what I do. The way that I package and I sell myself to them is I say, I'm going to come in and help you grow your business, get more sales, get more leads. Now, that business has afforded me the life that I have today. I am 21, moved to a nice high-rise in Miami. As you can see, this is the view from my personal room, not even my balcony. Very thankful. I have 2 cars, a Mercedes and an Aston Martin, and overall just living a very comfortable life. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure I can get into the amount of money that I make, but I think you guys can see that at 21, I have, thank God, it's only through God, of course, that I have been able to afford myself a life that not many other 21-year-olds can afford. The way that this program started was about a year ago. I had a friend that came to me after seeing me do well with my own agency, and they asked me, hey, would you mind teaching me how to do the same for myself? And so it was just simply out of that demand that I decided, let me just try it out first. Let me even see if it's possible for me to teach other people how to do what I do. And here we are a year later. I was hosting that mastermind at the property you guys saw in those last few clips, and it was $1,000 net property, but we said, it's worth it, let's go have some fun. And this is how far the program has come. We've had many successful students. My best performing student making over $15,000 a month, and right under him over $10,000 a month. So I have results, guys. I have proof that what I am teaching works, and not only for myself, but for other people as well. So why is this beneficial to you? Because if you are interested in starting a business like mine, I actually will teach you how to do it in my coaching program. The way that we do it is through a few ways. So number one, we have multiple weekly Zoom calls where you can get on the call, ask me questions, and either me or my business partner Jake will answer those questions for you guys. You can share your screen and we'll literally tell you exactly button for button what to click to grow your agency. We have a WhatsApp group chat where you can ask messages 24/7. So at any point in time, you can send in a quick message and either me or Jake or one of the other experienced members will get back to you. Number 3, we have the community, which I think is the most important part. You have a circle now of brothers and like-minded individuals that you can communicate with, collaborate with. You guys can, of course, build personal relationships. You guys can network with. Some of the students in the community actually has gone as far as getting offices together. I just got a video from 2 of my students that went in actually into Brooklyn, now that I live in Miami, and they took over my old office and shared it. That's something that you would not have had access to, or rather they would not have had access to if they were not in the community together and got to know each other. Then, of course, best part, you get access to our next mastermind, which we haven't planned yet. We just actually finished up the one that I was just at yesterday. But next one will definitely going to be international. And overall, best part, obviously, you're stepping into a community with a business model that is already proven to make money for multiple people, and that is a potential that you have to build your own amazing online business as well. So all the further details that you need to know about this, guys, I'm gonna leave a link in the description of this video that you can click on and check out. But the way that I wanted to wrap up this video was adding a few more notes about college, because this video was just specifically about college. Now, overall, you could probably sum it up by saying that I have some sort of like hatred towards college, and that's not the case at all. I think that in some cases, college is beneficial for, as I mentioned, like the proper majors and fields that require you to have it. So like nursing, engineering, law, things that require you to have certificates, things that require you to have licenses in order to get a job and actually become a major contributor to the necessities of society. But what I've always hated was the fact that college, just so that the owners of these universities can make more money, makes students waste a lot of time. Now, some people want that because they want the college life. Other people are trying to get out as soon as possible and actually start contributing not only to their own wealth, but then also to the actual building of their life, their careers, and the value that they could potentially provide to other people by, let's say, having a very profitable online or valuable business in general. And so that's something I've never been a fan of. But then again, universities will always exist. They always have existed. And for a lot of people, I would even go as far as to say it is the best option for them. Building a business isn't easy, guys. You need to have a lot of discipline. You need to be able to meet your own timelines. You need to be able to put in place your own rules and keep your own word to yourself. And I fully acknowledge that not a lot of people can do that on their own. Some people do need a college professor. Some people do need a boss to help them get their life together. And that's completely fine. You know what I mean? That's what these leadership positions are in place for. It's to make something out of people in society that otherwise would not be able to provide value, that had they not had a leader in place that could put in place a plan for them to move. I mean, I act as a leader for my own employees. I act as a leader for my students. I act as a leader for a lot of people myself, and I don't ever look down on any of these people at all. If anything, I just want to build more of the potential that people have lying within them, but they're just not aware of because they don't have the information spread over to them. So college is not bad overall, but for those that do have the potential that's just sitting there sleeping because they don't feel like they have any other options, that's what this video is for. So you can join my mentorship and I'll help you. I will directly have my hand in helping you grow and make more money online. Or you could use any of the advice, which I hope, a 40-minute rant that I've given you has been of some value to help you, contribute and build your life somewhere else. But that's all, guys. Thank you for watching this far. Please subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.